that nickname on the record was not established by myself. So you guys are probably like, really? It wasn't? Nah. One of my old friends gave me that nickname one day. He says, man, I got this cool nickname for you. And I was like, all right, what's up? He goes, the gift. I go, man, you're crazy. That sounds so arrogant as hell. I'm gonna get killed. If you were gonna be like, hey, this guy's an asshole, this guy's mean, you know, I don't even want nothing to do with him. He was like, no. And he's European, so he's a little different. That's how I always make fun of him. I go, you're European, you're different. He goes, no, you don't understand. You have special talent. You have a gift. Like, you're different than all the other bodybuilders I knew, grew up with. You don't talk the same. You come from a different lifestyle. Like, you came from a basketball background, so you may not have had those same attributes as most of them. You didn't have those same negative stereotypes walking around. I didn't walk around like, for me, no disrespect to anybody that does it, but I don't walk around with my air in my chest like looking like I'm holding luggage. I just don't do it. Different type of swagger, just you're willing to meet anyone, you're just a chill dude, and a lot of negative stereotypes of bodybuilders are the complete opposite. They're really mean looking, they're very introverted, but they really don't want to engage. And if you were to ever become a pro, you said that I would easily be accepted, but yet having a lot of resistance at the same time, because you're trying to go against the current. You know, you're trying to go against the wind, and a lot of people are very familiar with a certain type of bodybuilder. They got the guy that, you know, he's got his headphones on, he's in his zone, this and that, and you just don't want to mess with the guy, you know, and that's okay. He said, but he goes, he saw the sport evolve into something different, where it needs to be more well-rounded, like to bring in more people. So he felt like I produced that. I could bring in different athletes into this sport and make it look cool. So I was like, man, you really thought long and hard about this damn nickname, man. And so I kept it. And so that's what that really means. Everybody in here is also gifted in something. I don't know what it may be. We all have a special talent. And that truly is being gifted when you care about your success more than the air that you breathe, when you're having the stamina to withstand all life's challenges and obstacles, and really not complaining and just saying, you know what, I was built for this. I was made to do something exceptional. I was made to earn my footprint on earth. See, some people don't realize that. Some people go on this hamster wheel mentality, and they're putting a lot of energy into something that they're not making any forward progress, but they're spinning on this hamster wheel like nonstop. I think hamsters are the dumbest animal, because it's like you're just running and like they get worn out, but they make no forward progress at all. And they're not really in shape. They're like a little ugly little animal. It's not, they have no muscle in it, so it's really weird. So for me, I was like, you know, I want everybody to kind of recognize their gift, to recognize what they're not just good at, but what they're great at. And here's the cool part, is that you don't ever have to be shy about what that gift is. You don't have to be shy to tell someone that you want to be successful at something. I think we live in a day and age now, especially on social media, especially with younger guys and girls, that if you were to say, like for instance for me, like someone asked me, like, how many Sandowns do you want to win? And it's kind of hard, right? Because you're thinking, okay, do I answer this as Mr. Olympia or do I answer this as Phil? Because some people in this general public, they're not going to understand it. So I say, you know, it's true, and I want to win 1 year at a time. Well, of course I want to win one more year at a time. That's like the PC one, right? The real answer is I want to win 10 of these days. And a lot of people were like, man, that's messed up, man, you cocky, this and that. It's like when LeBron said he wanted to win, not one, not two, not three. He got a lot of flack for it. I don't understand you catching flack for something that's your personal goal. That'd be like someone telling me, yeah, Phil, you know what I'm saying, I'm trying to get like 30 pounds of muscle, and I just start laughing at you and be like, man, you ain't gonna get that, man. Man, you're crazy. You know, why? That's your goal, that's it. So for me, I remember saying that, I was like, man, screw it. I live one time, like, you know, I should be able to say, yes, I want to win every year. I definitely don't put this much effort into myself to lose. And I'm here to tell everybody that, if it would be no different than a child or someone saying like, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? And the kid says, I want to be a doctor, a lawyer, or this or that. And if the kid said, I want to be the best, what if the kid said he wanted to be like the best speller in the world? Well, obviously he had to be the best speller in his class, his grade, his school, the city, the state, so on and so forth, right? We kind of applaud that, right? We're like, man, that's a good job. The kid said he wanted to be something like that. But when you say, yeah, man, I want to be a CEO of a company one day, or I want to be the best bodybuilder in the world, or I want to be 10-time Mr. Olympia, it's kind of like, really? You see what I'm saying? And it kind of makes that person feel like, wow, if I express what I want, I'm not being humble. And I don't think people really understand the definition of humility is. So when I talk about wanting to be successful, great. Like if you tell me you want to be Mr. Olympia, I'm going to be like, all right, cool.
Strive for greatness.
I'm sorry?
Strive for greatness.
Why not?
Should.
I don't see why you would want to walk on earth being on a hamster wheel. No forward progress. And hiding the fact that you want to be successful. It's kind of like we were all in school and we knew someone that was really smart and they didn't want to be smart because they wanted to so-called fit in. Well, hopefully that person didn't believe in these morons that kept telling them or making them feel like, oh, you're a brainiac. That's actually a compliment. Oh, you're good at something. Man, that's a compliment. Go with that. See how far it can take you, because if I would have just listened to people saying certain things, I would have never bodybuilded. I would have never tried to earn a pro card, and I definitely wouldn't have been Mr. Olympia 4 times now if I would have listened to a lot of the negativity and allow their myths or whatever become my reality. I'm here now to try to remind everybody that if you want something bad enough, go after it. Don't be afraid of it. Shout it out from the mountaintops. I don't care. Good for you. You have to give a damn about something. Why not be about success? Because that will breed more success for other people around you. You will inspire tons of people. If I didn't care about my success, you guys definitely wouldn't be here. And that's the truth. When Steve Weinberg is actually the first guy to ever put me on a plane to go guest pose. I remember guest posing at one of his shows, and I was like, I actually look like dog shit, and I figured, wow, I'll never look like that again, and I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna earn the respect of all the people in New York. So that's why I did the New York Pro, and ever since then, I always wanted to make sure I came back to New York, because I knew you guys are very, very critical, very, very real, but it reminded me that if I want it bad enough, I can get it. If I wanted, when I finished college, it was because I wanted to. Now I get to use that education for something really neat. So it's kind of like what I talked about earlier about like how you think about these different checkpoints and you stop and smell the roses, all that stuff. Now it all makes sense. Now it makes sense that when I went to school. Now it makes sense to say, you know what, it was worth the sacrifices. It was worth, saying no to going out with friends when I had an important exam or a bodybuilding show to take care of. I tried, and I still try to do this, try to live a purpose-driven lifestyle. I think anyone in here that's competed knows that everything you do, it's like on the clock, like everything has to have purpose. If you don't, then you're gonna fail, and you can't be pissed at anyone but yourself. The awesome thing about that process is that can be relative to any of you guys. Hard work, dedication, no shortcuts, understanding that you have to persevere through life's challenges, no matter who you are, no matter what. It can be, a little hump, or it can be a huge freaking obstacle. But you have to decide, and you have to channel whatever it is within you to ask yourself a simple question. Is it gonna kill me? Is it gonna beat me? Or what? Or am I gonna have the guts to go through it, to break barriers, to be a pioneer, to want it more than anything. And I guarantee you, the person that has the most stamina with that mentality always wins. Always. When they say like, oh yeah, you know, hard work beats talent, I always say but when talent works harder, you know, you always win. Well, we're all talented. Don't think you're not. You'll have that moment if you give a damn about success, but you have to do it every day. You have to do it without being told. When I talk to kids, I always tell them, because I know their parents tell them the same thing over and over again about, you know, working hard and this and that. You know what I tell kids, and now I tell people, adults, no one should care more about your success than you. I went into it with the mentality of saying, I want to be better than I was the previous day. That's it. Because that's one thing that I can control. On a daily basis, I can say, I can be better than this. There's something that, and I think it was from, you know, probably from playing basketball or something. You know, you can watch game film of yourself and say, yeah, I didn't do this right, I didn't do that right. Maybe I could do this better. And really critiquing your performance. Not overanalyzing, there's a difference. You know, asking yourself simple questions like, did I do this right? Did I miss a meal? Okay, make sure I don't miss a meal again. Or, you know, did I really go hard on that last set? Did I get a little distracted when I saw the hot girl walking to the water cooler with the yoga pants on or whatever? I mean, guys, don't act like y'all be looking at no girls in the gym. You guys are all quiet for a second. So, I mean, all these little things, though, seriously, collectively, will inhibit better performance. And we have to be willing to stick to a plan and to want to get better each and every day. Really, that's what I wanted to touch on today. I really wanted to allow you guys to give me the freedom to be normal for a second, to be able to answer questions, just hanging out. It's all going to be on you guys from right now. I train them once a week right now, but when I was trying to make that jump to make them bigger, I think that was like in 2010, I realized that, you know, I wasn't born with this structure, and in street clothes I'm not that big, but when I take off I'm more, you see more roundness and stuff like that. I figured, well, how do I be the biggest structure of a guy? I'm gonna get this, you know, the cap of the delt. So I train them twice a week, one dedicated shoulder day, and then I train them again on chest day. But I would do, like, for instance, I would do on that chest day probably just some side laterals and maybe some fronts, because, you know, with chest you're already working your fronts a little bit. But I didn't go too crazy. I only did maybe like 3 sets of these. It was just to keep the delts, you know, active throughout the week. But yeah, so I did them twice. And that was around the same time I was reducing my arm training. I'm sure a lot of people have heard about that. I was only training arms like once every 3 weeks. So I did that to devolumize that area so then I could make the shoulders bigger. And once they caught up, now I started training the triceps and biceps more. Yeah, this year was like the first year, like after 2013, I was like, man, no one talked. I go, you know, I train with Honey Rambot, right? So he and I are in the room, and I was like, man, we won again. He was like, yeah. I go, you know what's messed up? He goes, what? He goes, man, no one talked about my damn arms this year. Because arms, you know, everybody was, you know, always felt I had good arms. And I thought, that's a good thing, actually. That means that I'm probably more complete than I think. So then I said, man, screw that, man. I'm going to train arms. One of my favorite ones is starting off with 21s. I always noticed that, like right away, you're gonna get a pump, no matter what. A lot of people should do that toward the end. So I did that in a lot of pre-training. I love pre-training, and I love doing incline bench, like the dumbbell curls on the incline. But I like working one arm at a time. So I really want to focus that constant tempo, that constant tension on that one area, and then switch. So I know a lot of guys do alternating dumbbell curls. I don't really like that very much, because I just want to get that one arm done, concentrate just on that one, and then concentrate just on the other one. Because I've noticed that for me, this arm's actually bigger than the other one. It's shape different. It's just the way it is. So I can only focus so much. Because I think this is the good one. Yeah, I'm just slinging this thing like nothing. This bad one, now I have to, think good and bad. No, let me just get this one over with. Now let me focus all my attention on this one. Preach curls, some spider curls every now and again. Some cable stuff. I do like doing the cables because I always remind myself of doing a back double bicep. That's just something for myself to kind of emulate. So when I'm on stage, I know exactly how to make them pop. And that's just one of my tips.
So you do heavy weights or light weights?
I just noticed that I was getting bigger, and a bigger muscle is always a stronger one. But it was always within reason. I had to really warm up my shoulders a lot for me to get those heavy sets in. So I concentrate on a lot of high volume. But people have seen me do, like, for instance, front raises with 70, 75 no problem, or sides, without straining really. But that came over time because I never liked hunching over a whole lot, getting a lot of body English with it, because I noticed I started straining my neck doing that.
What do you do with what's your really mentality of being somebody bigger than you?
Since I've been competing, everyone's been bigger than me. I turned pro in 05, and I was at the bottom of the heavies, but I won the overall. I weighed like 205. I won the New York Pro at 208 and a half. So, I've always been one of the smaller guys, but I always focus on being more sharp. And when I say more sharp, it's not just in one body part. See, a lot of guys say, man, I'm ripped, and they just show you the abs. It's like, no, you gotta be ripped everywhere at every angle. And that's how the muscle ends up popping. The muscle doesn't pop as much. It doesn't become 3D if you're not 3D. So you have to work on all these little angles, get all this, all this detail. If you have thinness of the skin on the quads, then where's it in the hamstrings, the calves, and all this other stuff? It has to flow. So for me, I never really concerned myself about the weight class because I figured if my shape was better and I was lean enough, the muscle would jump at you. And the proof was in the pudding. I beat a lot of guys, weighing less than. I give up 30 pounds to some guys at the Olympia, and I still beat them. A lot of guys get pissed, they're like, how the hell does this happen? But it's like when you get that lean, you can't really see it the same. On the TV screen, it's different, but in person, you're like, wow, it jumps out at you. So when you get ready for a show, it's more like, I would say, if you think you're lean, you think you're shredded, how many weeks are you in?
Like 20 days now.
Okay, so, when people are like, man, you're ripped, man, I wouldn't do nothing. They're lying. They're lying. They're lying their ass off. Because they don't know. Because I have guys to me, they say, hey, man, how do I look? And I go, ooh, how many weeks? And, their friends, they don't really know what being really shredded really is. And for me, I was willing to lose some of that so-called muscle to get lean, because then that was my true weight. If I weighed 200 pounds and I was shredded, now I can see the only way you're gonna figure out your real weaknesses is if you get like totally diced. When you get a false sense of security, when you're like 3 weeks out and you got a little water still in you and this and that, and you get like the biggest, you're round, everything works. So you have to be really cognizant of that. And then you have to keep in mind, like taking pictures, I always take pictures in the same spot at the gym. Even if they put equipment around it or where, I've done it. I've taken the same spot. I've done it for years. And it's usually not the best lighting either. Because I figured if it's half lighting, then on stage, it's gonna be the same. You ever notice like people post pictures and stuff and then they look like crap on stage? It's not because they look like crap. It's that lighting in the gym just made them look that much bigger. You build your muscle on what? Heavy lifting, or however you train. Why would you change that 3 weeks out? Now, you can't be stupid and trying to go for personal best, trying to lift all this heavy ass weight and then potentially get injured. Because that's where the danger zone. The danger zone is right around where you're at. Because what I've noticed is when I've gotten hurt, I don't talk about it, but I've gotten twinges and like little micro tears and stuff like that because I have trained heavy around this time. So like, man, I gotta beat him. But that's the day that you forget that you may have taken an extra fat burner or something. Now it's drying you out more, and you don't have as much fat as before, so you don't have all that water on you, and you forgot to drink enough water, and now it's midsummer. So you're already dehydrated, going to the gym, and now you're doing something to tear something. You gotta remind yourself, you gotta stay hydrated throughout all that. You have to really become very meticulous, not just with your meals, but with your water, make sure you're hydrated, and then because water will allow you to actually train better too. I mean, people forget, water helps exercise performance. It ain't just like supplements and all sort of stuff. You really have to stay hydrated throughout that process.